profile, and we're speaking to Hafiz Shaukat Ali Khan. He recently retired as the vice principal, or the principal rather, of Park Primary School here in Lenasia. And you could just see by the manner in which he was given his send off that there was a deep appreciation from his staff, from the learners, from former learners, from parents, parents whose children were previously in the school, and the community in general, for the sterling work that he did over 2 decades when he served as principal of Park Primary School here in Lenasia. He joins us this morning on Radio Islam International to share his story with us in the hope that it would inspire others as well. Habizab, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Walaikum salam, Maulana, and Jazakallah for affording me this opportunity on your show. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your show this morning.
Well, you're known as a teacher, as a principal, but more than that, you are a Hafiz of the Quran and a well-known reciter and leader of Taraweeh Salah. I had the good fortune when I was much younger and slimmer of reading Taraweeh with you at the Nurul Islam Masjid sometime in the 90s.
Alhamdulillah, as you know, my Ustad Hafiz Nurbai always encouraged and afforded the young Hufaz an opportunity to read at the Masjid Nurul Islam. And I had the privilege of reading at Nur Islam from 1990 till around 2003. Alhamdulillah, with the likes of Maulana Rafiqa Turani, Maulana Imran Nabi, Hafiz Jajbai. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Tell us about your journey. I mean, where you from originally, your childhood, some of the early days, memories?
Alhamdulillah, we come from Lojim initially. So we're a very, very big family, 11 of us. So seven of my siblings were born in Pretoria. Thereafter, my mom and dad relocated to Springs, where, alhamdulillah, in the year 1961, I was born in Springs. When I was 6 months old, we relocated to Lenasia. So in 1962, we came into Lenasia. And alhamdulillah, a family of 11, 9 brothers and 2 sisters. And at a very young age, I lost my dad. Of course, I was at Park Primary School. That is why I'm so passionate and so want to do something at Park Primary School, because I attended that school. It was a school that I attended at primary level. And of course, thereafter, I went to Lens High, finished my matric. And after completing my matric, my desire was always to become a Hafiz. So after matric, I took on the challenge. I remember a very close friend of mine, Maulana Ibrahim Bamji. Those of you know, Marhum, inshallah, grant him Jannah, inshallah.
Amen.
He came home and he spoke to me, said, Afsab, come, let's go to Karachi. And I joined him and we went to Karachi and I spent a year there. Alhamdulillah, I finished the Quran in 6 months. Thereafter, I toured India and I came back and I started studying to become an educator, alhamdulillah.
So tell us about that. Why did you decide to become an educator, teacher? Was it something you always wanted to do? Was there a specific moment or incident that prompted you in that direction?
I think it was the warmth that I received after my dad passed away from the teachers at school. And that already, I had made up my mind that I want to become a teacher and I want to make a difference in the lives of learners, just like how the teachers that taught me had made a difference in my life and provided me with the necessary tools to deal with the difficulties that we were going through. As you know, Maulana, in those days was very, very tough. 11 kids, dad passed away, mommy running the butcher shop. I'm sure you all know my late mom as well. Allah grant her Jannah, inshallah. For 22 years, my dad passed away in 1972. Right up to close to 2000, she was running the butcher on her own, just to ensure that she provides for us. And I also want to stress the sacrifices that my elder siblings made in order to ensure that we completed our schooling and furthered our studies. So the sacrifices that were made by my elder siblings were really, really appreciated. And to this day, they know. I always mention about the fact that the sacrifices they've made to ensure that we reach our goals.
Take us through your career as a teacher. Where did you start teaching?
So I qualified at the Lodium College of Education, Transvaal College of Education, sorry, it's situated in Lodium. And they posted me my first year in Germiston. Can you believe it? Germiston, Singh Primary School, 1986. Mr. Khan walks in as a maths and science teacher, grade 5, and they also gave me Afrikaans, I remember. Traveling was a bit of a problem those days. Of course, we didn't have the fancy cars that we have nowadays. So I did request for a transfer to Lenasia. And I was fortunate that the principal of Apex Primary, the late Mr. Valley, who was the pillar of strength and also a guide and mentor for me in terms of being an educator, managed to negotiate with the department, which of course in those days was seated in Durban, uh, Department of Indian Education, as you know, and he managed to organize a transfer for me, and I came into Apex Primary in the year 1987. I spent 10 years at Apex Primary, and Alhamdulillah, Mr. Valley allowed me to express myself. I was very keen on drawing up timetables, fundraising, marketing, and those kind of things. And he had afforded me this opportunity to just grow. And Alhamdulillah, the 10 years I spent there were the most wonderful years that I spent. And during that time as well, due to the fact that there was a shortage of maths and science educators, I enrolled for a further education and diploma in maths and science. And alhamdulillah, all that helped me. However, the disappointing part, Molana, was in those days, promotion was very difficult to get. You had
Mhm.
to be like 55, 60 years old. One foot had to be in the grave, and the other one had to be slipping in. Then only would they make you a head of department. I remember writing to the Department of Education and saying, but I don't think this is fair because as young ones, we do have the necessary know-how and skills to make a difference in education. However, they said, no, the policy is such that you need to be a certain number of years in education. Despite that, they managed to give me two merit awards. Merit awards means that your work is been of such excellent quality that you jump up two notches. So I managed to get that. But after 10 years, finally, they gave me my first promotion, which was at Parkside Primary as a head of department. I
Mhm.
spent a year there as the head of department maths and science. And in the year 1998, I was appointed as a deputy principal at Park Primary School. So in the year 1999, the principal was there, Mr. Ajuda. I think he felt the pressures of Mr. Khan and the new ideas that he was bringing through. He decided to retire at the end of 1999 or 1998, sorry. And in 1999, I applied for the post. And alhamdulillah, at a young age of 38, I became the principal of Park Primary School in the year 2000.
Mashallah. Now, there are those teachers who say, you know what, we enjoy teaching so much that we don't want to get too involved in the admin side of things, in the management side of things. What was your thinking at that time, where even when the department didn't want to give you the promotion, you wanted to serve in that capacity?
I continued developing my skills, Molana. I did another management course as well. And that sort of just further enhanced my skills in terms of admin, management, and leadership, the three pillars of being a good leader. So I managed to harness my skills in that. And Alhamdulillah, it held me in good stead when I received my first promotion. And when I became a deputy and principal, it just made things easier for me. So I encourage young educators, aspiring people who want to go into management, that they must continue, do some management courses, leadership courses, and I promise you, there's so much of joy that comes through when you get promoted and you're able to put systems into place and just make a difference in the lives of our children, because that's what it's about. Most importantly for me, the most important thing is whatever I've done, firstly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must accept in his court, and inshallah
Amin.
it must make a difference in the lives of the children. And for me, the most encouraging part was one of the assemblies that we have on a regular basis towards the end. Towards the end, last term, one of the learners from grade 7, a non-Muslim girl, went up on stage because children were going up on stage and saying things about Mr. Khan. And for me, the part that really made me feel satisfied was when this young girl, grade 7, she went up and she said, Mr. Khan, we're really going to miss you because of the morals, values, and etiquettes that you have taught us. We will remember this forever and forever. It was at that point I smiled and I told myself that Alhamdulillah, I think I've reached my goal.
Alhamdulillah. Now, you became principal of Park Primary at a time when our community were moving away from public schools towards private schools, Muslim schools. Many were moving and taking their kids to the more expensive schools in other parts of Johannesburg, arranging for them to get transport, etc. Yet we saw that those who still wanted to opt for public schools, be it for financial reasons or otherwise, it was Park Primary that was first choice. Park Primary seemed to be on the ascendancy at a time when other public schools, seemingly from the perspective of our community, were retrogressing somewhat. I remember that if you even just drove past, the neatness, the cleanliness was a good impression. And in the old days, when you had to queue up to secure admission, it was Park Primary that had those snaking queues from the night before and the day before. What would you say was your recipe for success? What did you get right? That at the time when there was a lack of confidence from our community in public schools, you were able to instill that confidence, and people were wanting to get their kids into Park Primary School.
It was a very simple recipe, Molana. Alhamdulillah, when I took over, my intention was to make Park Primary School the school of choice, school of excellence. We wanted to make it possible to afford the parents of Lenasia quality public education at an affordable price. Now, in order for me to have reached this, I think I need to share this with Molana. A leader is as good as the people that he surrounds himself with. And Alhamdulillah, with the school governing body, they had given me the leeway to choose educators and management members on my staff, of course, following policies, not shirking from that. I think that's very, very important. But it's important for me to choose people that were sharing my vision and mission in terms of school of excellence, school of choice. And Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to say when I finished at Park Primary School, every educator that was at Park Primary School, I was involved in ensuring that they received a post. So we had a very simple policy which I initiated in 2001. And I said, what we're going to start doing, number one, we're going to market the school. And number two, we're going to ensure that the educators that we get are qualified educators. You find a lot of the schools, and sad to say some of the Islamic schools as well, private schools, they were employing people willy-nilly, irrespective of whether they were qualified or not. I insisted on the school governing body that we're going to employ qualified educators that are SACE registered, and we will pay them a salary which they rightfully deserve. It was very, very disappointing. And to date, it's still disappointing. There are teachers who are qualified. They are teaching at some of our public schools. They are teaching at some of the private schools. And they're receiving, really sad to say, they're receiving peanuts. And that's really sad. I made sure that as Park Primary School and the school governing body, everybody that we employed, every educator that we employed was qualified, and we paid them a salary which was very, very close to what they would have received from the department. For example, in the year 2000, if they were receiving salaries of around 17,000, we as Park Primary School paid them 14,000, 14,500. So that automatically attracted the cream of the crop to Park Primary School. When they came into Park Primary School, we placed them as school governing body teachers. We didn't place them straight into a departmental post. We wanted to see their worth, Molana. And the best time you see a person's worth is when you work with him. And once we saw what they were worth, when departmental posts came up, we suggested to the department that we employ these people. Similarly, with my heads of department, with my deputy principal, I made sure I employed people, or the posts were given to those people that were worthy of their posts, irrespective of who they were or where they came from. But the fact that they had the skills, the knowledge, the admin, and the leadership to take the school forward, we employed them. The other very important thing was about marketing the school. I ensured that we whenever an event took place at the school, we placed an article in the newspaper, so that at the end of the day, we were marketing the school. People were reading about Park Primary School in the newspaper, and everybody was wondering what's happening at Park. And hence you find that at the time of admission, it was like the plains of Arafat. People used to sleep there overnight. Alhamdulillah. I remember those days. I remember the days when I think it was Mr. Patel from Radio Islam came one of the mornings. Must have been about 2008, 2009. Asked Mr. Khan, what is this? what's happening? And I said, this is the Hello Plains of Arafat. People are coming here just to get placed into Park Primary School. So I think the two most important aspects I think was marketing the school. Number two was ensuring that we had quality educators, and of course, my main vision and mission, like I said, school of excellence, school of choice. And Alhamdulillah, to the help of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, I must say that, and the Quran, the barakah of the Quran. Because if I tell you how many khatams I made of my Quran in my office, Molana, Allahu Akbar, in the month of Ramadan, all the teachers even knew. Don't disturb Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan is busy with his Quran. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
So that is all the barakah. That is all the barakah that made it possible for us to turn Park Primary School to where it is today, Alhamdulillah.
We're almost out of time, but very quickly, what led you to the decision to kind of say retire a little earlier than you could have and take up a new challenge now at the Roshni Islamic School in the latter part of your career?
Molana, my wish was always that I wanted to serve the community to the best of my ability, and I'm hoping that I have. And the other vision and wish that I had was that I wanted to be at a private school at the end of my career, because I felt that I could share my skills, my knowledge at a private school. So Roshni Islami came knocking at Park Primary School about a year ago, and they wanted me to join them. And I asked them just to give me some space and think about it. And of course, whatever I did, I always discussed with my family and elders. Unfortunately, my mom was not around. My late mom, Allah grant her Jannah as well. She had been a pillar of strength in my life as well. My late brother, Abdullah Dawood Khan as well, AD. He was not around. So I went to my other brothers, the elder brothers, and my wife and the family. And I discussed that this opportunity had come about at Roshni Islamic. It was always my desire. And Alhamdulillah, the family, the wife and the kids had given me the blessing. So I took on this task, and I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest, Molana. But in the same breath, it's mixed emotions. I'm really going to miss Park Primary School, because Park Primary School has always been my life, and it will be my life. And I'm hoping that with time, once the new principal gets positioned, I still want to be part of Park Primary School, where the school governing body may co-opt me into the school governing body, so I can still try and assist and ensure that Park Primary School remains a school of excellence. So despite the fact I'm going to Roshni Islamic, I think my heart will still be at Park Primary School.
Inshallah. Afsab, Jazakumullah for your time, and may your story be an inspiration to many others, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Maulana. I really appreciate this opportunity. And make dua, inshallah, Allah accepts. Like I said, whatever we
Ameen.
do, Allah accepts. Just like the fantastic work that you do. Our dua is Allah give you good health, inshallah, and accept
Ameen.
what you ever doing, inshallah.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was our community profile for this week. Hafiz Shaukat Ali Khan, who recently retired from his position